You know, all those survival shows on TV, Man vs. Wild, Survivorman with Les Stroud, Naked and Afraid, and so on. You ever watch those and think, I could do that? So did I.
When Survivorman with Les Stroud first aired, I was blown away. One guy alone in a wilderness with almost nothing but skill and grit. And being in my 20s, I thought, why not test myself? So when a brutal Illinois winter hit a record low, I grabbed two knucklehead friends and we went off into the woods. No tent, almost no gear, lots of unjustified confidence. And that decision almost killed me. By the time we got there, the cold was already stinging our fingers, our toes, our face. One of my buddies looked around for about 5 minutes and then said, nah, screw this, and went home. Of course, we called him a pussy, but he was a smart one. The smart one of us. The other guy stayed with me. We built a basic lean-to and then a long fire in front of it. The classic kind of setup you'd see on a survival show. The fire reflecting heat into the shelter. At least that was the idea, but we positioned it in a direction that the wind was blowing most of it away. But we did get some residual heat, enough to keep us alive. Looks good on television, but I'm telling you, in person it'll just barely keep your ass alive. And I was wearing blue jeans. If you know anything about cold weather survival, you'd know that that's really stupid. Snow would melt around my ankles and calves from my body heat, and then it would freeze again. My jeans literally froze solid around my legs. My steel-toe boots almost cost me my toes. Didn't even stop to consider that. Metal gets really cold, and my toes were getting dangerously numb. When I took off my boot and my sock to look at them, it looked like they had been underwater for about 12 hours, and they were pale white. I was sliding straight towards frostbite and hypothermia. And here's another genius decision. We were drinking alcohol, which makes you feel warm for about 5 minutes. But in reality, alcohol lowers your core temperature. So now I'm freezing, wet, underdressed, and I'm helping myself lose body heat even faster. We didn't bring any water because we figured we'd melt snow like on TV, right? It takes a lot of snow to make a little bit of water. And if you only bring a small camping pot, that takes a very long time. We were not near any frozen streams. There was no option of ice. And of course, we didn't bring much food either. So we're burning through calories trying to stay warm, while not really replacing them. Cold weather survival eats energy like a monster. That night, we laid on our backs looking up at the stars beside the lean-to. Fire in front of us, snow everywhere, and the cold was brutal. My buddy had a sleeping mat for insulation to keep the ground from zapping away all of his body heat. If he hadn't so generously let me lay on his mat, I'm pretty sure I would have been dead. I'm being serious. I would have frozen to death in my sleep. When I got home the next day, I was wrecked, shivering uncontrollably, hypothermic. I stayed under blankets basically the entire day after a long hot shower, trying to stay warm. And then I slept for what felt like forever. Here's the lesson. Survival TV is awesome. Les Stroud is the real deal. But what you're seeing is experience, preparation, and knowledge. Not just grit and willpower. What I really had was confidence and stupidity. Nature doesn't give a shit how tough you think you are. Cold kills people every year who underestimate it. I got lucky, and that's not a survival plan. So if you ever see a survival show and think, I could do that, just remember, one almost killed my ass.